1. My first year of college I lived in a dorm. It sucked. A lot. And so when my friend Paula asked me if I'd like to go in on an apartment with her, and her incredibly cute friend Heather, I said heck yes. We each took a utility. Paula had the gas bill, Heather had electric, and I had the phone. I bought a telephone and an answering machine at Lechmere, and recorded a cutesy outgoing message. Within minutes we had our first call, a guy looking for Abbey Auto Rental. I told him he had the wrong number and hung up. He called back immediately. Abbey Auto Rental. Nope, me again. What number are you trying to reach? He read off my new phone number. I said, well, that's the number here, but this is a private residence. He said, well, I guess you're fucked because there's a half-page ad for Abbey Auto Rental in the yellow pages with that number. Lots of luck! I grabbed the yellow pages and flipped to the car rental section. Sure enough, it was our number. I guessed they had gone out of business fairly recently, for the ad to still be included in the phone book. So we changed our cutesy outgoing message to say, sorry, this is not Abbey Auto Rental, they are out of business. You have reached Dave, Paula, and Heather. Please leave a message. It made no difference whatsoever. People kept leaving messages for Abbey Auto Rental. At the end of the year, Paula and Heather moved out, and Dan and Jorma moved in. Jorma used to enjoy messing with the callers. He would take down their credit card number and make a reservation promising free delivery, just as it said in the ad. Then he would go off to class. When the reservation time rolled around, the customer would call back furious at the absence of their rental car. And frequently, I would be the one to answer the phone. Hello? Where the hell is my car? Sorry, Abbey Auto Rental went out of business 2 years ago. What are you talking about? I gave my credit card number to someone this morning. You must have been talking to the ghost of Mr. Abbey. Ooh, ooh. I'm coming down there to kick your ass. Okay, see you soon. You have the address from the ad, right? How are you going to get here with no car? Ah! When Jorma moved out and Michelle moved in, we decided it was time to change the outgoing message again. We left longer and longer messages, but the calls kept coming. They had phone books. The phone books were 3 years old. Abbey Auto Rental must exist. It must. Finally, I went out and bought a longer tape for the outgoing message. I recorded The Gift by The Velvet Underground. The song is 8 minutes and 16 seconds long. The left channel is the band noodling around aimlessly on their guitars, and the right channel is a male voice with a British accent, telling a story about a man who mailed himself to his girlfriend. We all told our friends to just hit the star key to bypass the outgoing message. This, finally, eliminated the car rental messages. I left the answering machine that way and tried to forget about it. Almost a year later I came home to a light blinking on the machine. It was the peevish voice of a little old lady, who had clearly listened to the entire story, including the part where the girlfriend uses a sheet metal cutter to open the box, accidentally killing her boyfriend. The message said, "That's a very nice story, but it doesn't help me. I want to rent a car." 2. This is sort of convoluted because multiple different kinds of people make me try and answer questions about this place. I live in a sort of out-of-the-way place, even though it's like 5 minutes to a highway. There used to be a tiny private Christian college literally a block away, but they couldn't get enough funding to stay open, so they sold the property and buildings to some Silicon Valley billionaire, who turned it into something. I literally can't explain what it is, even after spending time on their website and walking around it. So it's frustrating as hell when I get asked to explain it. I have to take a Goober or Swift quite often, and the drivers are 25% of the time dropping someone off at this place. Is it a hotel? I think you can maybe get a room if you're there for one of their things. Like what? Yoga? Meditation? I'm not trying to talk down on any one of the things that get lumped into the yuppie hipster stuff, but this place decided to take it upon themselves to lump them all together for me, so it's really hard to be polite about what the fuck it is. Would you like a class on exclusive kale diets, while chakras are being aligned in an aromatherapy sauna? You can also catch Alanis Morissette later. Not really kidding, that much. So the other half, besides trying to be polite about this place, is the actual customers. Like I said, I live a fucking block away. There are houses even closer, seriously 10 steps away from the entrance. The place advertises itself as completely secluded with nature trails and shit. Remember when I said I live 5 minutes from a highway? The place is right next to it, separated by some trees. 2 other sides are my neighborhood, the 4th side is nature, a literal cliff. Anyway, this causes many customers to come wandering through my neighborhood, looking for these magical secluded nature trails. I've been accosted multiple times with mundane things, as getting my mail or walking my dog. Where to find the nature area? I don't work there. This is my fucking house, not some offshoot of that stupid place you paid out of the ass for, and who lied to you. Go ask one of them where the nature trails are. Maybe they expect you to walk up a cliff. Or you can enjoy the extremely scenic paved road and my neighbors who also won't help you. Because they also don't work there. 3. This takes place back in the landlines and 1 phone per household days. When I was growing up, our phone number was 1 number off from that of the pizzeria 1 town over. Ours ended in 05 and theirs in 04, so we would regularly get calls from people that had fat-fingered the number. Which was not a problem. We would just explain quickly that they had the wrong number and needed to call yada 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 04 and not yada 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 05. They'd apologize and we would never hear from them again. Then one day when I was 14, I was alone with my brother at the time, in the evenings, and he was 14, so it was usually me who answered the phone. We get a call from a guy who wants a pizzeria. He gets the spiel and that's it. 2 days later he calls again, same spiel. 1 day later, same spiel. Then we don't hear from him for about a week or so. I assumed he finally managed to get the number right. Well, it will come as no surprise, as I'm posting here, that he did not. Approximately a week after the last call we got from him, he calls again. At this point, early teen me is starting to get annoyed with this dingus. We usually only get these calls 4 or 5 times a year total, but this guy has now managed to get it wrong 4 times in 2 weeks. But I still give him the spiel and make some awkward teen-style jokes, trying my best to imitate what I've seen on TV. And don't call here again. But 2 damn days later he calls again. And by now I've had enough, and he already joked around with my parents about just taking his order. Well, teen me thinks this is a good idea to actually do. So I do. This was a pick-up-only place, and I worked in a bistro after school at the time, so I was used to taking orders. Phone rings and I recognize the number. This is Happy Helltown Pizza, how may I help you?
Yeah, hey, I'd like a 2, 32, 11, and a 4.
I don't actually remember what he ordered. Yeah? Yeah, that'll be ready in 25 minutes.
Great. See you then.
He does not call back later in the evening to complain or anything. He does, however, call back some days later. Phone rings and I recognize the number again. This is Happy Helltown Pizza, how may I help you?
Hello, I'd like a 2, 32, 11, and a 4.
Okay, yeah, we're busy today, so it'll be about 45 minutes before it's ready.
Okay, just make sure you actually write it down this time. I don't want to sit on my ass and wait again because you can't write 4 numbers and a name.
Oh yeah, we're so sorry about that. Won't happen again. I've already written it down and we'll start making them in a bit.
Okay.
14-year-old me started to feel kinda bad about this, as I'd always been pretty by the book. And straight up lying and causing this guy problems made me feel kinda bad, until later that same evening. I should preface this by saying that when I was 8, I was the victim of an attempted kidnapping. Me and a friend were walking alone to a shop. This was very normal in the early 90s, parents were less concerned. And these guys tried to call us over because they wanted to show us some birds. Yeah, I know. Very want some candy. We were smart enough to walk away but still tell our parents, which resulted in police and having to look over mugshots, and then being coached in how to act around strangers for the rest of my childhood, so felt pretty comfortable doing what I did. Phone rings and I recognize the number again. This is Happy Helltown Pizza. How may I help you?
Fucking stop that. I know you're not the pizzeria. They told me they had never gotten my calls. I had to sit and wait for an hour before I got my order because of you. Do you think you're fucking funny, you fucking asshole?
I'm sorry, I just got tired of you calling here all...
I don't fucking care. I'll beat the living shit out of you if you do it again. Only fucking children think this is funny.
I'm 14.
I don't fucking care about you. Fuck you, you piece of shit.
All the coaching kicks in and I hang up immediately. Get far away from the aggressor fast. Call the police, then call my parents. Seek help from authorities fast to best possibly catch the aggressor. The guy's phone number was stored in the phone, so it was easy to get his address and identity. He gets picked up by the police and has to explain why he threatened me. This was his word against mine. He's still pretty ticked off, and instead of just saying I lied, he starts the whole "he was an asshole and he pissed me off" routine. Jump ahead a month, and there's a trial, and this time he says I lied and that he never threatened me. The police report, however, disagreed, but in the end there was no real evidence to do anything with, so he ended up just getting a verbal lashing from the judge, which to this day is still one of the most condescending things I have ever heard, calling him weak and pathetic, and saying how sad it was to see a grown man feel the need to mock and threaten a child. He never called for pizza again, and my parents didn't feel the need to stop coaching me in what to do when confronted by strangers. End of story. P.S. I hate reading this at the start of every story, so I'm putting it at the end, because I want it to be special. 4. I am a medical massage therapist in a sports massage clinic. We get our fair share of weirdos or creeps, but they're usually filtered out during phone conversations or interaction with the front desk. A few slip by. One particular was military man who'd had massages all over the world, but had never had one in which they use a sheet. They'd always just put a towel over me. Well, in this state, it's proper protocol to drape with sheets. I don't need it though. I'm not shy and I'm quite warm. I will remove the blanket and turn off the heating pad on the table, but proper draping is state law. He doesn't say much until I undrape and start working on his hamstrings. Oh, you have great hands. I bet your boyfriend is so lucky. He certainly is. He's in the Air Force and really can use the work. He gets quiet again, then it's time to turn over. I tent the sheet and turn my head away like I'd done 1,000 times before. He gets content, and as I am about to undrape the leg, he rips down the sheet and exposes himself. I yank it back up to his chin and continue. He rips the sheet down again and exposes himself to me again. I yank the sheet back up to his chin quite forcefully. And he says, "You know, I don't really need the sheet, I'm so hot." I've had enough. I should have told him to leave at that point, but I didn't know if the owners would have my back. So I said, "Oh, no problem, I completely understand. I get so hot as well." Act like I'm going to take the sheet off, roll it up, tuck it under him, and turn him into a giant baby in a reusable diaper. I continue the massage with no more interruption, then leave the room with no more than a "get dressed and I'll meet you outside the door." He couldn't even look me in the eye after the session. He just left looking so humiliated and defeated without saying a word. Bonus stories. I had a man get lower back spasms during his massage. He said, "I'm just gonna stretch it out." Okay. He does a downward fucking facing dog yoga pose on the table, and his entire dick and balls and taint are exposed in my face. A man from New York came down for a visit with his friend. They were getting massages and going to the sauna. He said they didn't need robes for the sauna because they were comfortable with each other. Yeah, dudes, but people can see through the door and kids come in here quite frequently. I asked him what kind of massage he needed, and he said, "Whatever is the most slippery." At that point, I'm like, "Sure, cool, whatever. I'll just rub lotion on your body and get paid." Gives me a break from the stretching and deep work I do on most people who come through. I'm just spaced out, rubbing cream into circles, getting weird vibes from the guy. Then, as I'm working on his neck, he rips down the sheet and starts moaning and rubbing and pinching his own nipples. Nope. I end the massage right then and there. Say, get dressed, you're done, there will be no sauna. He leaves without saying a word. Didn't tip either. Douche canoe. 5. I thought I would share my Idiot in the Wild story with you. Although it's not particularly long, it still manages to make me smile now and again when I'm having a bad day. Even almost 20 years later. I used to work in a call center for a large telecommunications company. This was before mobile phones were mainstream. My job was to take all manner of calls from customers relating to their telephone and cable bills, as well as general customer service queries from all over the UK. To give a little bit of context, as I say, it was a call center, but that was only part of the very large office building that contained lots of other departments like sales, finance, marketing, etc., who worked normal business hours. Our customer service call center was a local rate 0845 number, but other departments just had regular lines and extensions. I worked the day shift. So although the call center was open 24/7, I worked 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. I remember that this particular call came in a Monday afternoon for reasons that will become apparent. For the purposes of this post, let's call this particular little treasure Buttercup. Good afternoon, Inferno Communications. Haze the Waze speaking, how can I help you?
At fucking last! Do you know how long I've been waiting to get through to you people? And you call yourself a fucking phone company. It's ridiculous!
Now, as I say, we were a busy call center, so sometimes the call queues could get lengthy, but I was trained to apologize and move on to the actual query as quickly as possible to stop the queues getting even larger. However, I look up at the stats board and see it's actually been a pretty quiet day with only a few minutes average wait time. However, I follow my training and begin the patter. I'm terribly sorry that you had to wait in our call queue. We do sometimes get very busy. How can I...
Ha! Actually, I didn't wait in your crappy call queue. I got so fed up with your lines being engaged all weekend that I called your sales number today instead. And look at that! They put me straight through to you with no waiting. You keep lines free for your new customers, but you're happy to treat your existing ones like shit. It's pathetic.
I am instantly confused. We have a large Centrex phone system, and our lines never ring engaged. On top of that, if she had called sales, I know they would only have put her through to the 0845 line anyway. I'm sorry again, madam, but did you just say you were getting an engaged tone? Our line should only ever ring until you are placed in a queue. It should never give an engaged tone. Please, can I check the number you were trying to call in case of a fault?
Oh, for crying out loud! Don't you get smart with me, young lady. I've been trying to ring you every hour for the entire weekend. Your business is a shambles. If you can't even fix your own phone lines, then what hope have the rest of us got?
Once again, I'm terribly sorry for your inconvenience, and I'm very happy to help you with your query today. But it would be very helpful if you could give me the number you have been calling all weekend, just so I can check out after our call that there isn't a problem with one of our lines.
What do you mean, what's the fucking number I've been calling? The fucking number that's plastered all over your fucking phone bill! I'm not bloody stupid. I have been calling all weekend and it's been engaged all weekend. Are you telling me that you actually want me to read the number out to you? Even though it's written on everything you damn well send me?
Yes, please. That would be very helpful.
Fine. It's 012345678
Madam? I believe that's your phone number. You've been trying to ring your own number all weekend, which will be why you keep getting an engaged signal.
Oh.
Our number can be found just above that. You see where it starts 0845. I like to think it was the sound of her arrogance crumbling in her ears. I stay quiet while she slowly absorbs the fact that she spent most of her weekend calling herself, and getting more and more annoyed that she happens to have been on the phone every time she does it. With a huge grin and the most pleasant eat shit tone that I can muster, I say, "Is there anything else I can help you with today, madam?" She hangs up. And off she goes into the wild. no doubt to test another poor person's anger management skills. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Idiots in the Wild, number 6. There we go, I thought it was about time I got another one of these up, and quite an enjoyable one for me to record it was too. And not least because I already had one of the stories done. I'll keep this short as it is a weekend. I hope you all have a nice one. I'm hoping for sunny weather, although I can have my doubts as to whether or not I'll get it. But if I don't, on the plus side, I've got The House on Haunted Hill and Daredevil to watch on Netflix, so at least that'll keep me occupied. And I've got a little bit of recording to do to start the 10 days of Halloween week, which will start on the 21st. So there'll be a bonus story up on Sunday at some point. I haven't decided when, but we'll see. Okay, and with that, I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.